and welcome. I'm Ashlyn, and I'm going to be taking you through a dynamic grounding sequence. So this is kind of inspired to help us find some centeredness in our busy and chaotic lives. So getting started, find a comfortable seated position. That could be cross-legged, it could be on your knees. And when you're there, just closing down the eyes if that feels comfortable and starting to look within. Maybe starting to deepen your breath. Expanding on the inhales and the exhales. And as you breathe deeply, just noticing the parts of your body that are rooted to the ground. Feeling the point where your sit bones, your legs or your ankles meet the floor. And finding a sense of stability in that surface holding you up. Rooting down through the sit bones, allowing your crown of your head to rise up taller. Continuing to breathe deeply here. And when you're ready, just fluttering the eyes open. So from here, start to walk the hands out in front of you, going as far as you can, and then dropping the head. Breathing through the back body, trying to find space. Maybe feeling your hips open. Different pressures on your legs now in the forward fold. Inhaling to come back up. And then swapping the cross of your legs if you're sitting cross-legged. We're just going to fold out once more. So reaching the hands out in front of you. Taking an inhale and then exhaling to drop the head. And breathing here. Inhaling to come back up. Taking your right hand, place it about a foot away from your right hip, and sweep the left arm up overhead. So you can allow a bend in the right arm there, but trying to keep some space so you're not crunching the right side body. Breathing, gazing upwards if that feels okay for your neck. And sweeping the hand back down. Placing your left hand out beside you, sweep the right arm up overhead. So again, trying to keep some space in the left side body. Turning your ribs and your chest up towards the sky. And breathing here. Coming back to center. Place your hands on your knees and we're going to do some seated cat-cows just to warm up the spine a little more. So on an inhale, bringing the chest through, gazing upwards, shoulders back, and exhale to round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale to come forward and through, and exhale, rounding in. Inhaling through, and exhaling to round. A couple more with your own breath. And exhaling. Okay, when you come back to neutral, just crawling over the knees, coming onto your hands and knees, untuck the feet, and start to walk your hands out in front of you, keeping your hips where they are, over your knees, and we're going to come into puppy pose. So just allowing the heart to start melting towards the ground. Rooting down through your hands. Feeling that stretch in the shoulders. Only going as far as is comfortable. And inhale to come back up, walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. Take the right hand and slip it through underneath the left, dropping the right shoulder to the ground, the right ear to the ground. This is thread the needle. If this feels comfortable for you, you can take your left hand, sweep it around behind you, and find your right hip crease. So breathing here, just ever so gently moving your chest upwards to the left. And bringing the left hand down, pressing firmly through that hand to lift back up. And sweeping the left hand underneath the right this time, coming down onto the left shoulder head. And if it feels comfortable, bringing the right arm around to find the left hip crease. This is a good shoulder opener. And when you're ready, pressing down through that right hand, coming back onto both hands and sitting your bum back onto your heels. So we'll do another gentle twist here by bringing the left hand behind you, right hand to the left knee, inhaling to lengthen up through the head and the crown, and then turning gently to gaze over your left shoulder. With every inhale, lengthening up, and every exhale, turning just a little bit more. There's a very minuscule bend here. And inhaling everything back to center. Coming up high onto the knees, step the left foot out in line with your hip, toes pointing forward. And if you can, reaching the right hand down until it finds the floor and sweeping the left arm up for a baby wild thing. So bringing that chest around up to face the sky, feeling a nice stretch in the left side body, breathing into your ribs, into the hips, and sweeping the arm down, coming off the hand, and bringing your leg back underneath you. Sitting down on the heels, we'll twist to the right. So right hand comes out behind you, left hand onto your right knee. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to twist through your upper thoracic spine, bringing that gaze over the right shoulder. And inhaling back to center, coming high on the knees, bringing that right foot out. I need to give myself a little more room here. Reaching the left hand down, wherever it comes, and sweeping the right arm up overhead. So trying to keep some space between your left shoulder, not sinking into it. Reaching with that right hand. And sweeping the arm back through, coming up onto the knees, finding that balance until you come onto both knees. Planting the hands in front of you, tucking the toes, and pressing up into a downward facing dog. So pedaling out the feet here, bending one knee, straightening the other leg, encouraging that heel towards the mat. And doing the same on each side. So you can keep pedaling here for a couple of breaths. Then bending strongly through both of the knees, really ground down through the fingers, through the palms of the hands, and allow the hips to rise up as the heels move towards the mat. On an inhale, sweep the right leg up overhead, and bringing it through, place the right foot in between your hands, and bring the right hand up towards the sky. So if you need to modify this, you can always bend the knee and allow it to come to the floor. Otherwise, staying up high on the ball of that foot. And exhale, bring the right hand down. We're going to pivot to our left, turning both of our feet to the long edge of the mat and finding ourselves in the center. On an inhale, lengthen and look up halfway, and exhale, folding forward. If your hands don't reach the mat, you can always reach for your legs. Otherwise, if your hands are on the floor, walking them back in between your feet and allowing the elbows to bend as your head reaches towards the mat. Inhale to come up. And now looking towards the left, we are going to pivot our left foot around to face the back of the mat. Coming back into that high lunge position, keeping the right hand rooted into the ground on your mat. Sweep the left arm up for a twist. So again, modifying by dropping the knee if you need to. Otherwise, really extending out through that right heel, keeping that leg straight, opening through the left shoulder. And bringing the left hand down, we'll pivot back towards the right. Coming to the middle of your mat again. This time, come all the way up and clasp your hands behind your back, interlacing the fingers, straightening the arms and the shoulders. Inhale to open the chest, and exhale to fold, allowing the arms to come overhead as far as they will. So this is kind of a balance here. Maybe play around with seeing if you can find a little more weight in your toes, leaning forward a little bit. Just appreciating your feet here for holding you up. One more breath. And on an inhale, coming all the way up, turning back to the right to face your mat. Hands down, and you can step forward with that left leg. So inhale, coming up halfway, hands to shin, and exhale, fold, bending the knees any amount. Taking a breath here, and on your inhale, rooting to rise, so grounding down through the feet, sweeping the arms up overhead, palms touch, and hands come to heart center. So we'll go through a sun salutation to take us down again. So grounding down, balls of the feet touching, heels are slightly apart, lift the toes, spread them out, place them down, engaging up through the calves, lifting the knees, engaging your quads, tucking the tailbone. You can inhale and allow the shoulders to roll back down and find your head lifting upwards. On an inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, palms touch. Exhale to fold forward, hands to the ground, knees can be bent. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, hands to the mat, coming into plank. So from here, staying in plank or dropping the knees, take another inhale, and on your exhale, bring the elbows in tight and lower, either halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale for cobra, upward facing dog, and exhale for downward facing dog. On an inhale, sweep the right leg up overhead, and exhale to step it through. Staying high on the ball of the foot, find your balance, ground down through those feet, and on an inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. So looking down, trying to ensure that your hips are facing forward. It might help to widen the gap in between your feet here if you're finding it hard to balance. Breathing here, arms up. And now sweeping the right arm underneath the left, cross them over. You can stay here, maybe holding onto the shoulders. If you'd like to go further, you can bring the arms up and wrap the right arm around the left, coming into eagle arms. Now from here, grounding down through the right foot, stepping up, lift that left knee. Now trying to balance, finding a focal point, and wrapping that left leg around the calf as much as it will go. You can leave it just crossed over, or if you can, maybe try to find the tuck of the toes behind the calves there. So you're in eagle pose here. Breathing here. And unwrapping the left leg, staying on that right foot. Start to kick the left foot out behind you with your arms still in eagle pose. Squaring off the left foot, toes pointed downwards. And if you want, you can bring the arms back into airplane. One more breath here, and bringing the left leg in, forward fold. And inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to plant the hands. Either meet me in down dog or come through vinyasa. If you're coming through vinyasa, step back to plank. Inhale here and exhale, coming down through chaturanga or all the way down. Inhale for upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale for downward facing dog. So taking a breath here. We're going to do all of that on the left hand side. So on an inhale, sweeping the left leg up overhead. Exhale to bring the left foot in between the hands. And again, looking down, if you feel like you're going to need some more room, maybe line up your feet so they're like railroad tracks. On an inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, high lunge. Breathing here. Feeling the hips align, maybe pulling the left hip back, the right hip forward. And bringing the left arm underneath the right. Again, you can stay here and hold on to the shoulders, or wrapping that right arm around the left till the hands meet. Lifting the elbows up to shoulder height. Taking a breath here. And then bringing all of your weight onto the left foot. Lifting that right knee up. Crossing it over the left, staying here. Or if you can, wrapping it around that calf. So holding here for a bit, finding that point of focus, grounding down through the left foot, and releasing that right leg, start to kick it out behind you. Finding warrior three. Body is horizontal, right leg up, toes point down, trying to keep the hips in line, and unfolding the arms for airplane. One more breath here. And on an exhale, allowing right foot to meet the left and folding forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Palms touch, hands to heart center. Okay, so let's take it down. We are going to take the feet as wide as your mat, and toes can be pointed out at a diagonal. And from here, you are going to bring your hands to heart center again and just start to squat low. So coming down, down, down until you find yourself in Malasana. So this may or may not be accessible to you. If you're up on your toes, maybe you can either roll up your mat, you can find a block to put behind you, maybe some cushions to put under the heels. Something that helps to keep you in this position without falling out of it. When you're here, pressing the elbows into the legs, keeping the chest upright, taking a breath. Reaching that right hand down in the middle of you, in front of you, and opening up with the left hand. If it's accessible, you can try for the bind by reaching the left arm around behind you, squeezing the right arm around the right leg, and turning your chest up towards the sky. And inhaling to release, back to center, Finding your grounding again, and this time placing the left hand in front of you, sweeping the right arm up for a twist. Again, if you want to find the bind, bringing the left arm around the knee, sweeping the right arm around behind. And inhale back to center. So there's no glamorous way to get out of this really. So we're just gonna sit back, come onto our heels, and stretching their legs out in front of you, removing any flesh that might be in the way. Sitting up tall, toes flexed. Inhale, sweep the arms up, finding length, and exhale, hinging from the hips, reaching forward, finding whatever you can. Maybe it's your shins or your ankles, or if you have a strap, you can always use that to help. And again, every time you inhale, finding length, and exhale, folding forward. We're gonna be here for about 5 breaths. Turning your concentration inward. Allowing yourself to release. Breathing into areas of tension. If your mind wanders, trying to bring it back to the breath in this moment. Inhale to look up, exhale to release. Now coming all the way down onto your backs, keeping that left leg out long. See if you can bend the right knee in, give it a squeeze, and then reach for your foot or your ankle, the outside of your foot if you can, and just pulling that right leg up. So knee underneath ankle for a half happy baby. Placing that left hand on your left hip, anchoring it down. And then sweeping that right knee over to the left side. You can let go of it. Allow your right arm to extend out long, bringing your gaze over your right shoulder, if that feels okay for your neck. And inhale, bring the gaze back to center, bring your leg back to center, and just stretching that right leg out long. Bending the left knee, bringing it into your chest, give it a squeeze, and then reaching for the outside of the left foot if that's available to you, and bringing that ankle over the knee for a half happy baby on the left hand side. You can find a little bit of movement here. You don't have to stay perfectly still. Just trying to keep that right hip down, that right heel down. And when you're ready, bringing that right knee across your body, or the left knee across your body, sorry, and extending your left arm out long. Closing the eyes if you wish. Breathing into that twist. And inhaling, gaze and lie back to center. Just extending the legs out long. Allow the feet to flop open to the side. Allowing the arms to come out long, palms facing up. Closing down the eyes. Letting go of the breath. Just allowing your body to relax, melt into the mat. Again, noticing the points of contact between your body and the floor, your heels, the back of your calves, the back of your thighs, your lower back and your upper back, your shoulders, forearms and the back of your hands, and your head, all supported through the ground beneath you. When you're ready, starting to find some movement in the body again, wriggling the fingers and the toes, maybe rolling out the wrists, stretching out overhead, pointing the toes, and bringing the knees into the chest, rolling over to the right side. Taking a moment to pause here before pressing yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Keeping the eyes closed. Finding that grounding once again. Coming right back to where we were at the start. The sit bones, the ankles, feeling them rooted down into the ground. On an inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Palms touch, bring the hands to heart center. Thank you so much for taking the time to practice with me today. And thank yourself as well for taking the time out in your day to do something for you. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me. I would love to hear any feedback if you have any. And so please feel free to shoot me a comment. Thanks.